Hello and welcome, everyone. Welcome back to the Catenaccio Podcast. I'd like to say, did you miss us? But honestly, I don't even want to know the answers. It's probably going to be a big fat no. I am not going to lie to you guys. I am right now in a bit of a food coma. I had too much pizza, and I think I'm slowly droozing away in this episode. But I think I'll let the football scores do a bit of a talking today. So before we get right into the football news, let's say, and the football discussions, let me introduce our panel as always. First of all, Emiliano Colangelo is our champion of Italy and does not want to make us forget that he is champion of Italy. Today, is that a kitchen you're in? Change of setting.
Yes, it's my apartment in the UK.
Oh,
I'm not in the UK. That's why.
so will we see some flatmate just walking past in his boxers or something?
No, I don't know.
Okay,
We're good.
fair enough. We're good. We're Gucci. Next up we have wait, did me, Ricky, and Luco wear the same T-shirt, a gray T-shirt? Oh my god, that's so cute, guys.
It's white.
All right, sorry, podcast listeners. I told you I'm kind of retarded right now. Luca, what's up, man?
All good. Finally back in Italy. Well, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, since now I have to deal with Inter fans around here.
Yep.
But yeah, happy to be back on the podcast. And Arda, maybe try to be a little bit more politically correct next time. You're gonna get cancelled.
Sorry, I really don't want to get cancelled. Next
Yeah,
up,
for your
Ricky.
sake.
Yep, I really don't want to get cancelled. Ricky, what's up, man?
Hello.
Is that it? You don't want to
Yeah.
tell us anything?
I don't have much to say. I mean, we had 9 years that we could have started this podcast, and the only year. No, jokes aside. We'll talk about it later, but not much to say. Now.
All right, we have a pretty good episode lined up for you guys. As always, we've started this little thing of making our episodes, based on the results, maybe a couple discussions here and there, nothing too major. And then we're going to do again a tier list. And this time the team is AC Milan, mine and Luca's team. For our podcast listeners, don't worry, we won't leave you out. We will describe everything we're doing in full detail. But let's get right into it, guys. Catenaccio Podcast, episode 24, 14th of May. So I'll quickly go through the results for 2 match days that we skipped. So first one was match day 34. Interesting results were Napoli thrashing Spezia 4-1. Inter, even though we're champions of Italy, absolutely killing Samp. And Samp did something very nice. They did for the first time, I think, in Serie A history, a guard of honor, which is usually a very Premier League thing. There was questions as to whether Juve might do the guard of honor this weekend, but who knows? I think the chances of that are very, very slim. Fiorentina basically killing Lazio's Champions League hopes with 2-0 win, but we'll talk about Lazio's hopes in a minute for the Champions League. Genoa Sassuolo winning 2-1. Apart from that, interesting stories. Atalanta absolutely thrashing Parma 5-2. Cagliari beating Benevento in a very controversial match for the relegation battle, because there was on the 2-1 to Cagliari what looked like a very, very clear penalty for Benevento, and the VAR went to check it and they didn't give it, and it was kind of weird because the week before Napoli had scored against Cagliari the goal for the 2-0, and the ref didn't go check it or something, or he did go check it. And it was just very controversial. And then Cagliari tied that game, and so stayed into the race for relegation. Roma thrashing Crotone, man, and last but not least, Juventus getting beat 3-0 from Milan. I'm sorry, Ricky, I am your fan and Nathan, but I will not stop talking about this game. But actually, I'll start off first by the losing side. So, Ricky, what did you think of that game? Is there anything, it's today's Friday, and it happened Sunday? I know it's gonna be hard for you, but tell us, maybe not from an emotional side, but now that a couple of days have passed, a real analysis of what happened during the game, what didn't happen, and how come it went so badly for you guys that game.
I mean, there's not much to say, unfortunately. I wish it would have been more, battled as a match. But in the end, you definitely deserve the win. I'm quite, how can I say, shocked that it is a 3-0. I think that you got quite lucky scoring the first goal at the end of the first half. That was a very important episode of the match as a whole. Then obviously we did one shot on target and couldn't play, and Szczesny saved the penalty on Kessie. I was hoping that somehow we could manage to score at least one goal, and after the end of the first half, I thought if we manage to take a draw, it will be very good for us. But then, when Rebic scored a 2-0 with that amazing goal, I was like, I didn't even get mad because like I was speechless, and then I got a bit more mad. I got a bit more mad on the 3-0 on Tomari's goal because that was totally a mistake of attention, and unfortunately that will be very relevant in the case, but I don't think if we'll be tied, you have the goal difference, which is better because you won 3-0 in Turin, and so the last goal of Tomari was unacceptable. But overall, guys, you deserve the game, and I said that if we have to be objective, you deserve to go in Champions League because the whole of the year, if we look at the length of the whole year, you've been first and second, and you deserve to go. Juve this year, then we can maybe talk about it later. I don't know, but it's been a failure under all point of views, unfortunately.
I was about to say from that game, what I found was incredible was 3 goals scored by Milan. At least 2 of them probably are gonna be mentioned maybe in goal of the year. But that Rebic, like imagine Rebic, that guy on a football pitch is an actual psychopath. Like the way he acts, like he scores a goal like that and he doesn't celebrate. And in general, his mannerisms over pitch just shock me every time. But yeah, I think Luca, do you want to talk us through? Well, apart from the fact that Tomori, did you know, Luca, that Tomori's goal, he actually jumped higher than Ronaldo did against Sampdoria last year? That very famous header. Do you want to talk us through your side of the game, and then do you want to, just give us a bit of a review and maybe some key points. By the way, before you start, I'm not gonna lie. After we missed a penalty, I said, "Yep, something's gonna go wrong here." I said, "This. I can just read it. I can just read it everywhere if something's gonna go wrong." But clearly, it didn't happen. Luca, talk us through it.
Well, first of all, if that Tomori stat's true, then very impressive. Even though I must say Ronaldo's goal was a bit more aesthetically pleasing when you watch it, it looks a bit nicer. But of course, that Tomori goal was beautiful. I don't want to, of course, I'll comment on the match, but then I wanted to get into a bit more meaningful debate with Reiki, not just focusing on the game, but maybe even in general. But the game, I mean, what can I say? It's most impressive victory for Milan in maybe the last 5 years minimum.
I think it's the first time we've ever won. It's the first time we've ever won at the Allianz.
At the Stadium. Yeah, but in general, when I think about it, the games where I've been that happy or that pleased, maybe the first derby this year, of course, I was really happy to win that, but winning 3-0 in Turin, where we've always lost, is just incredible. And I think the performance was great. It was a match of very important episodes, as Ricky said, because, that first De Ligt chance, you never know. He scores that, completely different game. Szczesny doesn't make the mistake on the first goal. Different game. But overall, we did deserve it, and we did play very well. I also got a bit scared when Kessie missed the penalty. I said this is where the tide turns. And Juve now scores a goal. Dybala comes on, and he scores as always because he loves scoring against us. Which, by the way, I will never understand why Dybala didn't play the game for the length of it. And but yeah, I mean, we showed that we really wanted it. Rebic scores a beautiful goal, and then Tomori caps it off. So overall, just incredibly pleased. Arde, if you have anything else to say about the game itself, go ahead. Otherwise, I'll ask Ricky a question.
I think what was incredible is that we've been always labeled as a team that was so. Apart from the fact that I absolutely shat myself when I saw Ibra fall down like that. I honestly,
I didn't mention that.
Yeah, I thought for a second his career was going to be. I thought his career was going to be over because it's
not. We don't know if he's okay yet. Huh?
He's
by a specialist
in the States. But
It
you
is
know,
scary.
the fact that he was still there walking around on the pitch and everything after that, and he was there smiling. I thought if it was that serious, he would have probably gone off and like straight to taken care of. But I don't know. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I absolutely shot myself there. And honestly, we've always been labeled as such a team that is so Ibra dependent. Maybe psychologically we are, but on the pitch we've always been 100% at some point labeled as that. And I think we really showed how after he went off, the team really popped. Like the team really showed a lot, and I think it's because there's so many leaders in our team that are kind of underappreciated as a whole. But, you know, guys, Kessie now, every match he's a man of a match for Milan to the point where it's nearly like obvious now how good he is. And apart from that missed penalty, again, solid performance by him. The defense was absolute class. Kier as well, such an underrated. Like thinking about how much we paid for Kier, and his age, it's like, you know, it just tells you how in football not everything is always clear cut on paper. Like you know, Kier, we would have thought, he's gonna be a crap player, but you know, here we are.
The individual performances were incredible. I think at the end of the day, Pioli won the game, right? Having the balls to put Brahim starting, then pays off right away. Of course, Pioli's come under a fair share of criticism this season, and rightfully so in certain cases. You know, when you lose to Juve 3-1, lose to Inter 3-0, lose to Lazio 3-0, lose to Atalanta 3-0. It seemed like he couldn't get it right in most of the big games, and then he beat Pirlo this time.
Amy, you look like you wanted to say something at some point. You unmuted yourself. What's up?
No, I just wanted to talk about. I think you said about Ibra dependence. I think it's more related to how you're on the pitch. Not mainly because of Ibra, but mainly because you're lacking a striker. Like if you have to go in
Ibra drifts so much. Ibra's always out of the box. It's incredible.
It's a similar thing to what Lazio does with Milinkovic. Like if any player is with a difficulty, someone's pressing, whatever, they just kick it up to Ibra and he does something. He makes something out of nothing. Just even someone like Lukaku can't do that. Like only a handful of players can do that right now in the world. So I see why you depend on him.
Yeah, 100%. Does anybody else want to? I just want to say again, that whole thing I say about Ibra versus Lukaku versus Ronaldo, I think was evident that game. Now, Ronaldo, we'll talk about match day 35 in a second, where he scored against Sassuolo, and we'll go straight into that with Ricky again, and then we'll basically flow into match day 35. But I don't know, it's just I think we really saw the difference between the two the other night again. How much of a weight in every way Ronaldo is to that team, and how much of a not weight, like more of an anchor, he's more of a leader, Ibra to our team. And maybe that's just me exaggerating because I really love Ibra, but I don't know. I just see Ronaldo. I think you are
exaggerating a bit. I don't think. I
don't know. I just see Ronaldo as such a financial and such a character and such a psychological and such on the pitch as well, such a weight to that team.
Keep in mind, Juve got, let's say, I think this is a perfect word, embarrassed this year in Champions League. We did too, but Juve did as well. And Ronaldo was brought in 3 years ago to win Champions League.
This is what I'm saying, Amy. Like, like, can you agree with me? Like if you don't know how Juve has, like, the thing is with Ibra Ronaldo thing, always look at it this way. How much has Juve improved since Ronaldo's come in? How much has Milan improved since Ibra's come in?
Juve's midfield fell further.
Yeah, exactly.
Down than
Arda, this thing about the way, I think if you ask every player in the Juve dressing room and you ask them, are you happy to play with Ronaldo? Are you happy he's here? I think the answer is I don't think you can define him as a weight. I think he's very good overall for Juve.
I think the most like if we watch at the situation of Ronaldo since he arrived, it's funny to say, but the most important impact he had was on the image and the
business side as well.
Yeah, business side, because I laugh about this because if I really think about it, I want to cry. But since he arrived, we went out with Ajax, Lione, Porto, and now we're in Europa League, like in 4 years. And I was like, well, maybe he will arrive, we will not win Champions League immediately, but maybe at the third year we will be near there. No, in the fourth year we're going in now Europa League. Like, it's a total failure in the European.
But you guys remember when he came to Serie A, and like Serie A out of the blue became like everyone's really interested in.
Mm.
I'll give him kudos for that, but still on the pitch.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the Ronaldo project was a failure. I just don't think he himself should be titled as a weight to the squad, because I still think that he adds a lot of value. Like, it's not the Ronaldo problem. It can only be kind of thought as the Ronaldo problem just because of the money.
It's the Juve problem, and it had featuring Ronaldo. You mean?
Exactly, and it's also because how the money he earns, of course, is you have to consider it. But then again, he's not the one forcing Juve to pay him that much. It's a decision on the management side.
This is a general trend in modern football. It has shifted away from having one top player to more of a complete team. Look at the teams that are in the Champions League final. You have City, who have no real standout player. Maybe you can say De Bruyne, but even him, he is like a guy who scores 30 goals a season. Of course, he's a midfielder, but you can debate that. Chelsea, same situation. Everyone plays together. The two teams who have arguably the two best players of the last 2 decades, decade and a half, have been going downhill. Barca pays Messi more than 100 million a year. Juve pays Ronaldo 30 million a year. That burden of having to pay one player more than the rest of the squad really weakens you in certain areas.
PSG as well. You'd say that PSG have. That's really. So you're saying that nowadays football teams, if they want to excel, it's not a case anymore of having one standout player, but having a range of medium to high players. That's what's going to guarantee you.
It has to be a team.
Not necessarily. Like in Juve's case, if you got Ronaldo, you then I said it also in the past episode. You have to get players like if we think about Real Madrid, when Ronaldo was at Real Madrid, he had Modric, Marcelo in his prime, Benzema.
But they didn't go out to buy them; they already had them.
Yeah, but you need to have those players, or the players take a step up and improve their quality. But like Juve, what are we talking about? Rabiot, Ramsey, Bentancur, like. They're not players at the level that they didn't improve, or they're not even at the level they should be to play with Ronaldo in a competitive team. That's what I think.
All right.
Yeah, because we know Ronaldo. I'll just say this last thing. Ronaldo scores his chances, and he has been scoring his chances. He scores the goals. You know that if you put those 50 balls to Ronaldo through the season, or I don't know, say 60, he's going to score those 40 goals. Yeah. Exactly. It's not that Ronaldo hasn't been performing. It's just that, and then this is the big debate. This is why I think Messi is better. Yeah. This is. I don't want to get into all that, but I think Messi is the one who he can just start at the halfway, and he'll run to goal and you'll score. Ronaldo isn't that. Ronaldo, if he gets the ball in the box, he's going to score. So yeah, Juve should have had the players to serve him properly, and they didn't. They don't.
All right, well, guys, we'll move on straight to Juve for match day 35. Sassuolo Juve 1-3. Juve not completely killing off their Champions League chances. Ricky, as we're on the subject of Juve, do you want to talk us through that, and we'll move on to the other teams, guys?
Sassuolo Juve first half could have ended 3-0 for Sassuolo. I mean,
guys, I've never seen Ricky like this. It's like a man on the brink of a mental breakdown. It's the first few laughs before a mental breakdown. Go on, Ricky, tell us about it. Ricky.
I mean,
nothing to say.
This man has only won for the last 9 years of his life. Of course, it's taking a toll on him mentally. Yeah. He doesn't know what this is like.
Should we just talk about the only nice thing from that game? I think was Buffon being a record for the oldest goalkeeper.
Yeah, and Paolo and Chris reaching 100 goals.
Which again another thing for
Ronaldo scored 100 goals.
Yeah.
He's the only player in Juve history to do it in 3 seasons. So
we'll move away from the Juve that game, but one thing just about the whole Buffon going away thing. Do you want to just give us just a few words on Buffon as a whole for Juve? Not this year, but I mean as a whole, some few words and how you feel about him leaving. Maybe if it's just good for him to finally just let go.
At this point, I think, I mean, I can understand. For me, his real goodbye was the one he made 2 years ago when he went to PSG. that was the real. Then I think him coming back was a very, good choice, and it was like I think he was fundamental in a way, trying to help the young guys and the team, and but he's had his time at Juve. He has had his glory, and so at this time I don't feel too bad. I know that he came back to try and give a different to play a different role in the team. I think that when he had to play, he performed at a very high level and kept the team, under attention, and so. I mean, I'm happy with what he has done with Juve, and I think it's one of those romantic stories in football,
Yeah, 100%. All right, guys, we'll move on to the other results. Napoli beating Udinese 5-1, now solidifying their Champions League status, which we'll talk about these Champions League teams in a minute because we have a slide prepared. Because I got a couple questions for you about Napoli and Gattuso. Cagliari Fiorentina 0-0. I don't know why, but this just smelled like Oreos, if you get what I mean, biscottone, because it was just a good result for both teams. No shots on target. It was terrible, absolutely terrible. Atalanta basically ending Benevento's hopes for not getting relegated. I think this weekend might be the nail in the coffin. Guys, what the hell? Like, do you guys remember when Benevento was like 10th?
I sent a table. Sorry, just quickly. I sent a table the other day to the group that said that Benevento in the first half of the season scored, I think, 22 points, and in the second half, only 9. Like that just shows the difference between what they've been able to do at the beginning.
Yeah, I think I know why Ricky was laughing a bit there, because I think Benevento in the past, I don't know how many months, the only team they've beaten is Juve. So.
In the Girone di Ritorno, they only won against us. And I will always say this. And now, I mean, with 2 matches and we are behind, it's very, very hard. But like, if we don't reach Champions League this year, I think I was looking at the calendar right now, and after 9th of March, our elimination from the Champions League, we had a match against Cagliari, won, but then we lost against Benevento, and then 2-2 against Torino. You guys, this week 7-0, and we had to do 2-2. I mean, I can't understand this. I think that those matches we lost points after the Champions League elimination are the ones that are crucial and will probably have us out of the next Champions League. Because if we win against Benevento, which is in Torino, it's 3 points more, and if we win the derby, it would have been other 2 points. So we would have 5 points more. We would be, I don't say comfortably in, but in a better situation. So this is it. I mean, if we lose against Benevento, how can you expect then to?
No, I think that now if Juve really does go into Europa League, which looks not maybe likely, but very possible, I think we're going to need to have a full Juve episode at the end of the season because there's so much to unpack. And I don't think anyone has the answers of what went wrong. But the question I wanted to ask before is, I was watching Bobo TV today, and they were also talking about it. Who can leave from Juve? Is it going to be a full restructuring? There's a lot to say.
Just one quick thing. Then we can talk about it another time. But what I cannot accept, and I was also saying it in the last episode, like, you can't come from 9 years, you win the Scudetto, and then suddenly Europa League. Like, I really thought that we would have arrived at this match with Inter, the one we play on Saturday, that the title would have been still kind of open. At least I thought. But now we are like, I can't understand that. I thought, okay, after 9 years, it's okay, it's totally fine. Stop winning the Scudetto, but like, 2nd, 3rd place, not 5th out of the Champions League with players like Ronaldo, that he will go away 100%. I don't think he will ever stay if we play Europa League. But yeah, we can talk about this all of another time with more separate episode. I don't know.
If you know what it is as well, I think it's just the moment as well is terrible because all teams are in so much debt. COVID, the amount of money, because it's not just like, it's not just like a slowdown. It's not even a major slowdown. I mean, Super League thing as well. It's a fall off a cliff, honestly.
Yeah.
It's just that's what worries me as well. Like, it worries me financially for the team. Like, what I mean? If you thank God it's Juventus that can maybe like pull themselves out. I don't know if any other team could have done that. But yeah, should we move on to the other results in the meantime, guys?
Yes, please.
Stamp Spezia 2-2. I think Spezia could have basically kind of saved themselves there with a win, but not yet. Tommy Pobega, future maybe Milan player next year, with 2 goals, which makes it 5 for his yearly tally. I was talking on a show for Radio Rossonera the other day, and I was like, I think he still needs time. I don't think he's ready. I don't want to plunge him into a Milan team just to regret plunging him into a Milan team. Torino Milan 0-7. What a game! But at the same time, it's kind of one of those games. It's kind of, I don't have anything to take out of that game.
There's not much to say.
I think after a 3-0, it was a good Milan win, but Torino totally shut down. Like, they had such a, I think on the 5th or 6th goal for Rebic, like, the defense just literally didn't know what we were doing. Glad to see Hernandez back scoring. Glad to see Rebic get back to double figures in Serie A. Inter beating Roma 3-1. Not much to be said.
Something
what's up?
very quick to say about the Milan game.
Yeah.
That I will see Atalanta get praised, or even Roma, when they beat Crotone 5-0, 6-0. Everyone goes crazy. Oh, beautiful football by Gasperini, new Atalanta, European Atalanta, all these praises towards the team. And you have Milan beating Torino 7-0, and I barely see people talking about it. I don't know if this is a double standard.
Maybe let's be honest, Atalanta gets praised for absolutely everything they do.
Exactly. That's the thing.
I don't know if Gasperini pays people at Sky to talk nicely about him, but
can't believe you said I'm going to get cancelled, and you're not going to get cancelled.
I've already said enough. If they want to do, they can. No, I think the only impressive, of course, 7-0 is impressive in itself, but we don't, as a team, we don't usually win like that. Atalanta, they, once every 3 weeks, they have their 5-1, their 5-0, their 4-0. Milan, very rarely. I think the last time we won with a 7-goal margin was an 8-1 victory in 1950 something. I think
the highest margin we've ever had was an 8-0 against, I think, I want to say either Cremonese or like Genoa back in the day. Yeah, like 60s, that kind of stuff. But
then we had like a 6-0 against Torino, 6-0 against Inter in early 2000s. And other than that, nothing. So that's mainly the impressive thing. And of course, it was a great victory.
Yeah. Moving on, Inter Roma. Not much to be said apart from Inter with basically their second team thrashing Roma 3-1. Lukaku, really good again. Apparently, he missed a couple of chances here and there, but Roma again just showing that they can't.
And
guys, has Roma beaten
Luca's
any?
prediction, which I fully supported, is still on.
Yeah, guys, has Roma still beaten? Has Roma ever beaten a big team this year? I don't think they have.
I don't think they have. They have the derby.
I don't think they can. Yeah, they have the derby.
I think they're gonna win the derby. I
think they might win the derby.
They might win it. Just
to spite them, just to
cancel Lazio's hopes of Champions. Even though they're very.
Honestly, if there's one game I think they're gonna put everything into, knowing Roman teams, it's that game. If they're gonna just bust the Lazio balls, they're just gonna do that. Lazio, then Bologna, Genoa saving themselves, winning 2-0 against Bologna, officially saved, not relegated. Lazio, Parma. I don't know if you guys saw this game. Deserved the whole game. Hit 3 times a post or like 2 times a post. In the 95th minute, Lazio scored the flukiest goal with Immobile. If you haven't seen it, go check it out.
Yeah, it was a FIFA goal.
There were like 10 deflections now.
Yeah, Sassuolo Juve, we were talking about Crotone Verona. Verona, I think, has let off their foot off the gas like about 16 match days ago when we knew they weren't relegated or going to Europe. Ridiculous. But yeah, let's move on to the Champions League discussion we wanted to have. So guys, this little table I made, we got the teams to the left for next upcoming game. So we got Milan playing Cagliari, Atalanta playing Genoa, Juve playing Inter. We got some really good games this weekend, by the way.
I wish this was the final position.
Juve playing Inter, Napoli playing Fiore, and Lazio playing Roma. To the right, where you see, this is for our podcast speakers. next to that, I've put down the numbers of what would be the betting odds for these teams to reach the Champions League. So Milan is at 1.10, which means that obviously if I put €1 and Milan do get there, I only get 10 cents. I'm not going to stay here explaining how to bet, but yeah. So Milan has 1.1 odds. The odds are 1.10, 1.10. Sorry, I don't know what I'm saying. Atalanta have 1.02, which is basically just mathematically certain. Juve last week had 3. It's gone up to 3.75. Napoli had 1.20. It's gone down to 1.15. This is incredible. Lazio had 7 last week. It's now 33.0. So as it stands, the table is Atalanta 75, Milan 75, Napoli 73, Juve 72, and then Lazio have a game in hand. Have a game to play and are 67. So let's say if they won that, they'd be at 70. So basically, from what Radio Rossonera have gathered up for at least for Milan, the way it would work is this weekend, Milan would be in the Champions League if Juve does not win, but Milan wins. If Napoli does not win and Milan wins. If Milan win, Juve win, and Atalanta do not lose, then Milan is automatically in the Champions League. If not, if Milan ties, Juve does not win and Lazio wins. And then if Milan loses, but Juve loses and Lazio does not win, then those are the things. So first thing we wanted to talk about, which we haven't mentioned, and then, by the way, for our listeners, after this, we're going to do a tier list, I think, and after that, we'll probably be done. Maybe we'll talk about the general table, but there's not much to be said because we're going to talk about it now. But the first thing I wanted to talk about, and like you guys to jump into this, is Napoli. Napoli is up there for Champions League, and if they do get Champions League, I think it will be shocking to know that most probably, from what I've heard, Gattuso is going to be leaving. I think it's nearly unfair. Like the things he has done with that team.
It is unfair.
I honestly think it's one of those teams that could have fought for the league if they were maybe more mature, maybe if they didn't have as many injuries. But like the last thing I wanted to say is
injuries.
Yes, injuries as well, but at the same time, everyone's had injuries. But the other thing that says, it just frustrates me so much how, at the end of the day, the relationship the manager has with the owner is more important than the manager has with the team. Because if we know something is that Gattuso really bonds well with the team, and you can see in this Napoli team that he's bonded so well. And now everything could go up in smokes if he goes to the Champions League and we send him away. I'd be really upset for him. But so yeah, can someone jump in and say something about Napoli as a whole? Because I think it would be a crime to send Gattuso away if he does get Champions League.
Quickly, I think he's not. They're not firing him, but I think his contract runs out. So that's maybe why, like, Napoli is seeing, let's say, this window of opportunity. I've heard a lot of Napoli fans thinking that Gattuso is not the manager that can give you the next step. Maybe kind of like what we had with Spalletti, where you can get Champions League, but you can never really challenge for the title. And so, seeing as his contract is running out, I think De Laurentiis especially seeing this as a chance to get maybe a better manager in. But overall, I think you can't really complain with Napoli's season so far. Of course, you've mentioned the injuries, and they played really good football. Both the games against us, I think, especially the first one where we won, I think, 1-0. I think we won both 1-0. Or the second one, I can't remember exactly now. But the first one where I think Andanovic became prime Manuel Neuer for the last 10 minutes. Yeah, I think Napoli could easily, even if they continue with Gattuso, I think they could easily fight for top 3, top 2.
Oh yeah, I think it's a team that is built to fight for the league. Honestly, it's because if you think about, sorry, that was a half voice break. If you think about it, so they got pretty decent,
like your idol Serse Cosmi. Sorry,
like my idol Serse Cosmi. Did we do? No, we didn't. I did it with the Italian boys from Radio Rossonera. We did the Napoli tier list, which I think we should be doing in a bit, guys. But they got pretty solid
Italian friends. Sorry, in betweeners reference.
All right, so as I was saying, they have a pretty decent goalkeeper, and apparently Ospina is up there as well because he knows how to use his feet really well. He's got like 2 assists this year. They got a decent right back who's national team level, and they need a new left back. The 2 defenders on paper, 2 center backs are really good on paper. Don't work that well, so they might need just one more center back.
I like to see a Manolas.
What's up?
No, I said Manolas on toilet paper.
Yeah,
No,
I don't
but
think Manolas
okay.
is up there
No,
anymore.
okay. But on paper, when you
He,
look at
he
these,
was very good at Roma. He's been absolutely
yeah.
terrible for 2
But what I mean
years.
is, on paper, like he's a player that has the potential to be really good, and it's a shame. That's why I'm saying we need a new.
You're
what's up?
washed up when Maximovic plays over you.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Anyway, but Koulibaly, one of the best in the world. They may have a very good midfield and attack is just so like. I don't think any of our players excel on like a super level, but they're all really solid and they really can do a job. So we got in midfield that guy Zielinski, who is just incredible. I think Zielinski is so underrated.
I want Zielinski.
I want Zielinski, but like even if he doesn't leave, I just like Zielinski so much. He's so underrated. You got Mertens, who's he's like fine wine. He's just always better. Insigne, who's been having a really good season this year. I don't think he's been talked about enough. I think we should do also team of the season soon. I think someone said in our chat once, one of you boys, we should do that at some point. Maybe we'll find a way to format it where we'll like present our players, whatever. We'll figure it out. But yeah, attack Osimhen I think has been really unlucky because apparently in terms of like he's got a stat where he's taken less minutes to get to 10 goals than Higuain and Cavani. And I think next year is going to be ripping up Serie A. Honestly, that guy's got a lot of potential. On the right, Lozano really good. Politano can do his job. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's also those CDMs that are maybe they don't excel, but they really know how to do their job. You know what I mean?
The thing I don't like is when they play Fabian Ruiz so far away from the goal.
Yeah, I think Fabian Ruiz is so wasted.
You've seen him with the national team where he plays a lot further forward, and he's just amazing with that left foot. He's basically like manages to do everything with the attack. The only problem, of course, is you have Zielinski, so you can't play both of them at the same time in that position. But I don't know, maybe bringing in a better CDM, I guess, because I don't know Demme or Bakayoko how high level they are.
Yeah, I think that's what they were looking for in Bakayoko, right? I think they wanted to have like Bakayoko as the single CDM, and then have Fabian and Zielinski as the mezzale, but Bakayoko just hasn't turned out to be what they wanted, and I think they're just too exposed when they play like that.
Mm. Yeah. Anybody else want to say anything on Napoli? Should we move on? Just talking in general, we really did talk about Champions League. It's not much. Should we just move on to the tier list, and we'll get on and done with?
Yeah.
Anybody else want to say anything about Champions League? No. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, actually, wait. If I can say one thing.
Yeah, go for it.
I'll just give you my realistic prediction and what I hope would happen.
Oh yeah, predictions. We should do predictions.
Yeah, we'll
realistic.
Go
I think that well, of course, touch wood. I think Milan and Atalanta will qualify this weekend. I think Juve, I don't think they'll lose against Inter, but I think there'll be a draw or they'll definitely struggle to win. I think at the end of the season, unless there's like a total Napoli choke, then I think Juve will be in Europa League and Napoli will qualify. My hope is that I hate Atalanta more than Juve right now.
Really?
And not historically, not generally, but as a current team, yes.
Atalanta, yeah.
So what I hope that happens is that if Atalanta loses to Genoa this week, then we're not in Champions League confirmed as long as Juve wins. So I hope that Juve wins against Inter, Atalanta loses against Genoa on purpose because then they want to eliminate us, and then we beat Atalanta and kick them out of Champions League. That would be my absolute dream.
I think my
see
heart,
Gasperino crying.
I think against Genoa, Atalanta will win 5-0.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
Luke, I know I would love that too, but I think my heart getting to next week, I think I'd probably
playing Atalanta for Champions League.
Yeah, I think I'd probably die.
That would be
next
bad.
Podcast, you see me weigh like about 70 kilos. And then I'd be like, hey guys, what's up? And I'd be like sweating. I look like a crack addict or something. No, I don't
think about it.
17 packs of cigarettes a day or something like that, just to get over on like a Tuesday. What's up?
That's what happened in 2018. Like it's crazy to think about it now, how it went to the last game, last minute basically, and when we qualified against Lazio. Like it was the same exact situation.
The game.
Yeah. No, that was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That was a whole mess.
Anyway, Ricky, do you want to give us your honest prediction, and then we'll go Amy, and then I'll tell you mine?
No.
Rather not.
Right.
Honest predictions. I think that obviously, not obviously, but I think Milan and Atalanta will make it without any problems, and I just hope Napoli chokes. Obviously, I mean, because I hope Juve manages to somehow, but it depends on Napoli, and we have Inter, and I don't know how, because if we look at the past games since Fiorentina, like Fiorentina, Udinese, Milan, Sassuolo, totally different results, but like there is no game ideas. Like I don't see a solid team with ideas, and so against Inter, I'm more worried than that. But then obviously it depends on Napoli.
Amy?
I think I was talking with you at the beginning of the show, but I wouldn't be surprised if Napoli chokes, let's say.
Yeah.
Where they basically, I don't know, maybe not managed to not win against Fiorentina this weekend. And then the last one against Hellas, some weird thing happens where, I don't know, Juve beats Bologna, weird situations, and then I think Juve ends up getting in.
I think this will not happen simply because I don't want to be too, how can I say, spiritual or stuff, but I kind of believe a bit in in karma in football. And I mean, I don't want to exaggerate this concept, but since all the fights that Juve had with Napoli over the past years, when Napoli had Sarri and we still won the championship, even though they made 91 points, we did 93 or something like that. I think Napoli this time they will go into Champions League and will go out, which is much worse
also,
than losing a Scudetto, probably.
Adding to what you're saying, also the fact that it's the same games as the year that Napoli choked the Scudetto, Juve, Inter, and Napoli, Fiorentina, Napoli, and Inter, Juve.
Inter, Juve. It was Inter, Juve then. It's Juve, Inter.
It was Inter, Juve. It's Juve, Inter now. Yeah, but still the same games. I think what Ricky's saying, it's a bit prophetic, no? That maybe it happens like this.
I'm a firm believer. Yeah, for my prediction, I'm a firm believer. I think Atalanta will qualify. I'm not going to speak about Milan, but I don't know why I've got this feeling inside my bones. It goes electric, baby. When you
I got this feeling.
Such a good song. Anyway, I am a firm believer that Napoli is going to choke against Fiore. Because Fiore are going to save themselves this weekend. I just see Vlahovic doing Fiore Lazio. I just see Fiore Lazio 2.0. Honestly. All right, let's move on to the tier list because we're at 42 minutes and I want to get it over and done with, and because I want to do it properly as well. All right, share screen, Chrome tab. There we go. So as promised, we're going to be doing a tier list on Milan players for our podcast listeners. How it is divided is it's 6 categories, which are all-star, top performer, good, average, underwhelming, and flop. We will be going through player by player and be putting them in. And we're going to be discussing how they've been for Milan and their importance for next year as well. So first up, Ante Rebic, guys, I think this is the thing. The first half of the season, I would have put him under underwhelming / flop. But the way he just kicks back afterwards, and especially with that, with that Juve game that has just passed, I don't know. Sometimes some games I want to choke him, but some games I just think he's so good. Probably going to be buying his shirt, by the way. I don't know why, but I want to buy a Milan shirt, but I don't know who to get. And the last guy I got was Romagnoli, who we'll be talking about in a minute. So I don't know, guys. What would you put him? I'd put him between good and top performer, but it depends.
In his defense, I think in the first half of the season, I think he had an arm injury, something like that kept on popping back up.
Oh, jeez, did you see that live?
Yeah, where he just
Oh, wow.
He destroyed
Yeah, and also I think even to add to that, what you're saying, not only did he have the problem with the injury, but also I think he suffered a lot due to Ibra's injuries. That due to Ibra being injured, Rebic kind of had to fill that spot, either him or Leao, and we saw that both him and Leao, when they had to play up there, they struggled. So if I can get straight to it, I'd say Rebic. I don't think it's enough to put him in top performer. I think good. Maybe I'd give him top performer just because of the goal against Juve pretty much, and also the game against Torino now. But I think good would be fair.
Luca, you know what it is as well? I think we've kind of been deceived by the numbers because if we look at the goals now, he's over 10 just because he scored 3 against Toro. And it was a 7-0 game. If he didn't score that, he would be under, I think, 10 by this point of the season. And that, I think, just tells me I don't want to put him in good. Can we all agree good?
Yeah, I agree with good.
Yeah, I would have said all-star after the goal he scored.
All right, this guy, this next guy, you guys know my feelings about him. And honestly, as Lucas said as well, I think there's some pretty good options out there. If we can manage to sell him for a bit of money, I would be more than up for it. It was his first defender when he's in Milan, but I'm kind of sick and tired of him. Çalhanoğlu, guys. Çalhanoğlu, where would you put him? I have to admit, though, that he's been quite useful this year, but in a lot of big games, he hasn't stepped. I don't think he's ever stepped up in a big game. I can't remember any big game where you just like,
maybe the first derby.
It wasn't really him. I think it was more Leao really stepped up that game.
He's not one of those players that takes the spotlight, though. Like, I think the games where we did win, the big games that we won, he always played very well. It's just that he's not the guy that scores the 2 goals and he's on the headlines. Yeah.
Where would you put him?
I think that I need to put the whole contract situation aside, because if I had to consider that, I would put him in flop just because how much it's pissing me off. But because it's just too much. But we're not the same when we play without him. And I think the main criticism I have is the goal scoring. Too. He had COVID, and the criticism, as I said, is he didn't score enough. But still, when we play without him, you can totally see that he's missing. And I still think he has had a very good season. It may be a bit controversial, but I'd still put him in top performer.
Wow. Yeah. I listen, this is the thing. I just got his numbers here. By the way, Lukaku has 11 assists. He's a player with joint most player with most assists. Çalhanoğlu
I saw actually yesterday.
Yeah.
9 assists. In all competitions, Çalhanoğlu is the second player for Milan in terms of goal contributions.
I think
behind Ibra. Okay.
I don't know, guys. Like, I think he's. I don't think he's. Oh, this is the thing. I want to. Yeah, he's been more useful than Rebic, to be fair.
The main thing for me is how. I think Lucas said it for briefly. The difference between you with him and without him.
Yeah.
I think that shows to me like he has to be a top performer.
All right, top performer it is, guys. All right, next up, the guy I mentioned. Yeah, Ricky, what's up?
I'd be interested also because there's been links to Juve, right? So.
Yeah, I wouldn't want him at
Juve. You can keep. No, Ricky, I'm a gentleman. Please keep Çalhanoğlu. Take him.
No. I think the thing about okay, Amy just left because he doesn't want to part in this discussion. But I think the thing with Çalhanoğlu is, I think both of us would take him, but not at 5 million, right?
Never.
Like Çalhanoğlu at 2 million, I think both of us maybe would say yes.
Yeah.
But 5 million is just no way. No.
All right, moving on to the next guy is a guy who I've got a shirt. I'm a firm believer this guy is a good player. Romagnoli. I think
better than Spain.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think he's a very good player. I think next year for Champions League, I think for us it's much better to keep him and give him a new contract than to go out and look for a third center back. I think he's just had a bad season. It happens, honestly. I'd put him under underwhelming, but I don't know what you guys put. I think underwhelming, but yeah, I don't think he's had that bad of a season.
I agree. I agree with you.
In the first half, especially, like when you guys were crazy form in first place, Tomori, of course, wasn't there. I think he came in January, right? So throughout the whole first half of the season, where you guys were first place, easily the best team in the league, he was the captain and playing every game. So I don't think he can be this bad.
He was also injured for a while, though, I think, right? Gabia was playing at the start.
Yeah. The thing is with this, Phil, guys, like I think he's been the player that has been most looked at. How, when Milan started gaining form, he's like the one player that really didn't improve that much since Milan. Like everyone in Milan improved, bar him, basically. I'd put him in underwhelming, but I don't know what you guys put.
Yeah.
Mainly because he lost the spot to Tomori. I think that's why you would put him there.
I just put him in underwhelming because he's committed quite. I can think about that derby against Lukaku where he got absolutely shat on as well.
Yeah. Also, Amy, I think we could even say not necessarily lost the place to Tomori, but also that he didn't compete with Kier, right? Because it's not for granted that Kier has to have a starting spot. Tomori is really, really good. So Romagnoli could have easily competed with Kier, and they were rotating between them two. Instead, he's also had another few injuries, but yeah, I think it has to be underwhelming. Also because I haven't seen that captain spirit in him that's like, I want to get my starting spot back and I'll do anything for it.
Ricky?
Yeah, I agree with what you said, guys. I mean, he could have played better, his chances, as you said, with Kier, because Tomori has been maybe more than expected, showing showing up. So underwhelming. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, next player is Rade Krunic. I don't think we expected
Average?
too much of him. Yeah, I don't think we expected too much of him when he's being. There's a couple games where he, Verona and against Juve, he stepped up really well. There's a lot of games where, when he played, I never expected him to change games. He's never done anything too special. He was pretty solid in the Europa League. I honestly think average is fine. I wouldn't put him under underwhelming.
Expectations are too low.
All right. Calabria, guys, is a hard one for me. I would personally put him aside from the injury as an all-star.
All-star,
really? And I'm a very big
guy.
He's honestly become such a good player for Milan. I think the game against Juve, he played on that side, and I think the way he just stopped Ronaldo this time, every time, I don't think has Calabria even had a bad performance. Maybe had one bad performance this year. He scored,
definitely, but he's been so consistent.
He's just grown, and I honestly think he's one of those players that has gained so much from not being fans. Yeah, all-star. I honestly think Florenzi should be watching out, because I think his spot might be in contention, but I think Mancini prefers Di Lorenzo. And wait, can we all agree? Wait, what are we saying? By the way, sorry, I just went on.
All-star, definitely all-star. I think everyone agrees with all-star. If we talk about Serie A in general, I'll just say right kind of sided players, because Hakimi isn't necessarily a right back. I think this season, Hakimi, Quadrado, and Calabria. Yeah, they're all very 100%. Different types of players.
I don't get the hype for Di Lorenzo, so I have to.
Same. I totally agree with you. I don't think he's not that good. Yeah,
I agree. I think he does very well with Compitino. He might not do anything excellent, but he doesn't make that many mistakes. That's the thing. Whilst on the contrary, I think Calabria this year has really shown a lot.
Calabria gives you something more.
Yeah, 100%.
It's the difference.
All right, next up, guys, Tataruzano. Let's just put him in average, because there's not much to be said about him.
No, the games he played.
The games he played quite well.
The Coppa Italia game against us.
He saved Roma, but we should have won against Roma. We should have won against Roma, and he lost us the game.
Yeah, average. All right, next up, Kier, guys. Kier has to be all-star.
All-star.
Yeah.
What a season he's had. Not much to be said. Benacer has been one of those players that has been a bit I think I don't know, man, because I think just like Çalhanoğlu is one of those players that you can really see when he's not there. Although lately, he
was never there.
His injuries
That's the issue. Really, he's just never been there.
He won without him.
I think we should put him in average, because he hasn't. This is the thing. He hasn't been there enough to really show how good he is. But we do know, we know it's for certain that Milan he's such a good player this year. And I think
but for that reason, could I argue that he should be underwhelming?
Exactly.
Because we know how good he is.
Yeah,
I feel like not being there is not an excuse. You weren't there. As a season as a whole, as a grade, it's a downgrade, of course.
I want to say just one thing from a perspective, not from a Milan fan. So from my perspective, this year Benacer, I've got no clue what he did of special or important for Milan.
He disappeared
from an outsider perspective. So that's
kind
why
of what
makes sense.
Fair enough.
What happened with Sensi for us last year? Similar.
Yeah, exactly similar.
Well, he was amazing for a bit, and then just.
Yeah, the potential is there, but he just didn't have the opportunity to demonstrate it.
All right, fair enough, guys. Moving on. Frankesi, I think, the first one say that he's not a top performer in the league, man. What a player. Sorry, I just got to carry
MVP of the season.
MVP of the season, by a mile as well. Yeah, really good. And it's incredible because he's a player that I remember of a star for Milan. He was everyone's quite,
his constant improvement is being
incredible. Absolutely incredible. Teo Hernandez, guys, I think he's had a bit of a wobbly one this year, so I wouldn't put him in all-star, but I think if Çalhanoğlu is into top performer, he has to be there because his stats.
Yeah, he should be there.
I think I'll go check out.
He started out very well.
I'll check out his.
I think he's missed in very big games.
7 goals and 5 assists, which is still not bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. He has been missing in the big games.
Yeah. I think sometimes as well.
Yeah, I think in the second game, definitely. Yeah. I think the issue is that he sometimes tries to overperform just because of last season. Last season, he was pretty much, for the first half of the season, it was either Teo or nothing. So I think he kind of, understandably, he took that role on. And then sometimes he'll try to do too much, and then he exaggerates and makes stupid mistakes. but now second half of the season, he had that bad patch in the middle. He came back, and now, I mean, he's just playing incredibly. So I think top performer, yes, but
pushing also.
there's a lot he can work on. Yeah.
I
The
think
thing I'd also say is that against Torino, we really noticed it, at least watching back the highlights because I didn't see the game. But now we play with kind of a three at the back to impostare, which is Tomori, Kier, and Calabria. And Teo has a lot more freedom to go up. And I think that helps him a lot because when he also has to cover defensively, that's when he starts making mistakes.
Yeah, 100%.
The thing that's so funny for me sometimes, it must be infuriating for you guys, is when he starts dribbles like half of the team, and then with the last pass he just forgets to do it. Yeah.
Although sometimes when he just puts his head down and he runs, I'm like, wow, incredible. I honestly 100% think sometimes he is the best left back in the world, and I think he has the ability to become it. You know what I really don't like about Teo is that I know this for a fact. He's just mentally outside of a pitch, he's not the smartest guy, and this is during COVID times. So when clubs and stuff will open, honestly, he's the kind of guy you'd hear stories about him going club to training ground. All right, moving on. Donnarumma, guys, I think he has to be an all-star. I'm really pissed off about his contract situation, but he has saved us a lot of points this year. He's got to be up there.
He will definitely not come and play Europa League, so...
Brahim Diaz, guys. I think Brahim Diaz has been quite average this year.
Underwhelming, I would put him even.
I don't know. I think his last performances in the Europa League have been
one game. I don't know if that's the thing.
Well, he hasn't played that much for you. I mean,
exactly. Seeing how good he was against Juve, I feel like it puts into perspective that he should have played. Like he should have pushed to get his chances. That's my idea.
Should we?
Yeah, I think Brahim. I would honestly, put him either an average or underwhelming. But I think. Partially, it hasn't been his fault just because Pioli hasn't played him. It's not like he was injured or stuff. Pioli just didn't put him in the lineup. But yeah, there's those games where you'll see him, I don't know, like against an Udinese, and you say he can't be in Serie A just because he gets absolutely bullied.
Yeah.
Then when he does have those magical moments, I was reading that when Guardiola came to City, he picked 3 players in the academy that he said, I'm going to keep an eye on these guys, and it was Foden, Sancho, and Brahim. So clearly the technical qualities are there. I just think he was definitely struggling with the physicality of Serie A. But if I could get him at a good price, I would definitely bet on him.
I think if we can get him for another year on loan, like on a simple loan, I think would be a great option. If we don't have to pay anything for him.
I have a question for you guys. Would you get him, keep him, or get Lucas Vazquez? If you
Two different players, though. Two very different players.
I think Lucas Vazquez just because we need a right winger more than we need a Brahim.
Also, if we are, fingers crossed going into the Champions League, we need. I think out of these guys, I think only Kier for Fener and I think a bit for Atalanta has played. Maybe Roma has played in the Champions League. Teo has played, I think, 1 game maybe. I think Ibra, and apart from that, maybe Tomori. No one else has played Champions League in this team. Mandzukic. That's it. So, maybe
Tataru Sanu for Lille for a bit or something.
Yeah. Anyway. All right, let's move on. Speaking of Dalot, guys. Dalot, I'd put him in average. He's been good when he played. I've never seen him do something really bad. Like, you know what I mean? I don't think he's ever cost us a game. But the fact that he hasn't been fighting, at the same time, he has had, what's his name in front of him? Calabria, who's had, an all-star season. I do think, though, the fact that Kalulu's been picked over him a couple times does mean maybe that he wasn't that good. But I put him in average. My expectations weren't that high. Like, I don't know.
I'll just say one thing. I think if you put Brahim in underwhelming, he deserves to be underwhelming as well. Okay. I think they kind of had the same story of the season, more or less. Yeah. Not a lot of space. When they played, they were average. But I think Brahim has had higher peaks than Dalot.
Okay. All right. Underwhelming it is then.
The good thing for Dalot is he can play on the left too, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that is very useful. He definitely saved us when Teo was injured or when he got suspended and stuff. It was useful to have him. But you can definitely notice the difference between him and Teo.
Oh, yeah.
All right, now the real question is this, guys. Okay, so we got Hauge, but the real question is, clearly Hauge's face has been photoshopped onto the picture. Whose body is this? I'm going to play a bit of a match.
Chala.
Is that no?
No.
I think it might be a Gabia. Is it? It is. No. Is it? It's very close. No, his arms are too big. Sorry,
I think
I got carried away.
Okay, guys, this
I
is
got carried
absolute
away.
peak of Catenaccio Podcast.
Yeah. Anyway,
Maybe
Hauge,
Colombo.
No, Colombo's absolutely. He's a monster. He's huge, man. Honestly, okay. Hauge, guys. Hauge, where would you put him? I put him in average because honestly, we haven't seen anything about him.
Yeah, I'd give Pioli a flop just because of how he treated
Yeah.
Hauge.
I
Of
don't
course
get why
not,
he
but I
doesn't play.
Yeah, he's
At the same
good.
time, but we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I don't think he's ready for big games or like the highest stage just because, he came from the Norwegian league, so he definitely has to adapt. I think we should have seen more of him. So average.
All right, next up, the guy that I want to send on loan
Oof.
that kicked me in the ass. Rafael Leão. I think he doesn't deserve to be an underwhelming, but he has to be an average. I think he hasn't had a good season.
I put him in underwhelming, seeing how good he's been. Similar with Brahim, I think. Like his peaks, his potential is.
No, I think there was a point where he was playing quite well. Like he still has. Let me go see his stats. I think he had a bad season. Like especially at some point, he's been really frustrating. But I don't think he's been that underwhelming. He's got 6 goals and 6 assists at the end of the day.
I think he's probably the player out of all of them that if you got every Milan fan to do the tier list, there would be the largest variation. I know a lot of people would definitely put him in flop. At the same time, I think some people would even put him in good for how well he's played in certain situations. Personally, I think just because of how good I know he is and what he's shown, I think it has been underwhelming. There have been moments where I really, really got angry at him. But then again, I am a huge fan of him. I really like him. I know he's very good. But yeah, there's been just totally unacceptable moments.
All right, next up, a guy who I call the new Abate for the way he walks. Like, the way he just does his stuff on the pitch, he just reminds me of Abate, obviously with more skill. Salamaker. I think Salamaker, guys, from what I expected from him and the way he's been, he works his ass off on the pitch and the expectation not being very high on him, I think he has a good season. I think he's on good.
Good.
He does
fair.
He does what he has to do. He doesn't complain. Sometimes his decisions are not the smartest when he gets too many yellow cards or red cards.
He's a bit stupid sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, but he's a solid player. I think solid player for the price we paid for him and everything and the expectation. Yeah, I think he's on good. Next up, guys, Mateo Gabia. We haven't really.
I'd put him in good as well.
Yeah,
I think
when he's played, he's done well. He doesn't let us down.
Yeah, I think also just because so much pressure when he had to play, very, very, very little Serie A experience.
There was that game where he just came in out of nothing without even being warmed up, and he had a solid game. I don't remember who it was against. You remember that? Yeah, I'd put him in. I'd put him in good. Yeah, fair enough. Then the next up, the god himself, the god of Milan, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Guys, he's got to be an all-star.
Wait, did I miss the Gijo in all-star? I didn't even.
Did you? Yeah, Gijo got an all-star, and I said
I didn't even realize.
Guys, Zlatan is an all-star. It's just a shame Amy, I know what he will say. It's just a shame he's missed so many games, but it is true. He has a certain age. One thing's for sure, though, class just doesn't go away. He's just such a good player, such a good player. Which makes me wonder how many goals he could have scored when we won the Scudetto if he actually played as center forward instead of going around. But still, an incredible player. So glad to have him. And no round. The way he changed Milan was incredible. Next up, Daniel Maldini. I don't think we should even put him there because he hasn't played at all. So let's not even put him in for this. Sandro Sandrino, I'd put him in underwhelming. I was expecting a lot more from him. I think he's a pretty good player. Because Benacer hasn't played that much, I think he could have excelled a bit more.
Lucas says no because
I'd say you could say
I love Tonali, but I think it's gonna be underwhelming, guys.
No, guys, this is ridiculous.
Tell us why it's not underwhelming.
I am very biased. I am very biased. I love
Amy,
Tonali.
if there's people in your background, I'm gonna mute you.
Yeah.
Go on.
Tonali, yes, he was paid 35 million. He wasn't paid 35 million for this season. Tonali was supposed to come. Benacer, Kessie were the fixed starters no matter what. He was supposed to have his time to get into the starting lineup, and he was thrown into it right away instead. Benacer has been injured pretty much all season, as we said. And honestly, I think that Tonali has done very well for when he did play. He has made his mistakes. He got a stupid red card, some games, but he's never gotten less than like a 5.5, right? The games where he hasn't been great, he hasn't been terrible either. I would honestly say Tonali, okay, definitely my expectations were a bit higher, because of what I saw last season, but I think the season has still been good. I think it's a good first season for Tonali. Okay, I didn't get him. Milan didn't get him to help us win the Scudetto or something. He's going to be here hopefully for the next 10 years. So I think as a first season, considering the circumstances, I would say good.
I don't know. I agree with most of the things you said with you, but I was just expecting a bit more with the amount of hype he had behind him. I'd still say not good, at least average or underwhelming. I'm sorry, Luke.
I'd even debate flop, to be honest.
You did. What would you say?
Flop. Come on, flop is.
Consider the expectations. I know he wasn't brought in for this season, but like everything behind him, like I know it's not realistic, but he was getting compared to Pirlo. Of course, very different players, very different backgrounds, and everything. But also the price.
But in either he hasn't had a single like terrible game or not even any really like bad games where you said Tonali was one of the worst on the pitch. He hasn't done anything incredible, but
you don't buy Tonali for an average performance.
But you don't buy Tonali for the game-changing performance in the first season either. I mean, he has time. Like, okay, I understand if you guys think that good is too much. Yeah, that's fair. He was paid a lot of money, and there was a decent amount of expectation on him. But flop is really harsh. Because I think a flop would be a flop of a transfer in general.
Yeah,
Tonali still has so much time.
I wouldn't put flop. Yeah, I think underwhelming. I think might
underwhelming then.
Yeah, Ricky, what would you say?
Yeah, for me it's all-star. No. Okay. Underwhelming.
You agree? All right.
Let it be known I strongly disagree. And
but you know why? Because, for example, Kalulu for me has to be in good. Because Kalulu, when we had that back emergency, just like Gabia, he really stepped up to the plate. He made one mistake against Genoa, but he amended it with a goal, and it's all solid. He was quite solid in the Europa League as well. I think Kalulu gets.
Tonali has been better than Kalulu. Like, it's just the price tag, which I guess ruins everything.
Kalulu.
Yeah, but what has Kalulu actually done?
He hasn't. No. Okay.
Yeah,
Kalulu, he put some pretty good performances in when he played, guys.
Yeah, but then again, like it's not Tonali's.
No, he hasn't scored.
No. It's not Tonali's fault. Like Tonali's price tag isn't his fault. He's still super young. He only had one season in Serie A.
In general, it's not even just the price tag; it's the expectation.
Exactly. Like what that
because he has shown last year that he's a really good player when he was at Brescia.
I think we can put Kalulu underwhelming, Tonali average.
No. Kalulu is not underwhelming, guys. Because if we're talking about Krunic, how his expectations.
No, Kalulu is average. I think Kalulu. No,
Kalulu average, Tonali average.
I'm just saying. I hate all of you guys, and I never want to work with you again. What's up?
I agree with Luke. I support Luke.
Next up.
No. You're skipping the MVP.
Tonali average.
Antonio Donnarumma also.
Getting paid €1 million.
Next up, we got three more players who are the January transfers, and I think all three have different categories. First one is Giuliano Meite. I think Meite for that price tag, I think good. I think he could be good. He's made one mistake. I think major mistake.
He's played more than Tonali.
I think he's made one major mistake against.
Bro, good. Come on, how can you say good?
Bro,
Meite is like Tonali. Meite is like Tonali. So Tonali average.
If you say Meite good, then Tatarusanu good.
No, because Meite was brought in as a replacement, to patch the hole of Benasset when he was injured.
He's a reserve,
which was what Tonali was supposed to be. If you have to bring a player,
Meite was the Kessie substitute.
When it was really like when Benasset was getting injured all the time, Tonali wasn't able to go and really be consistent, so they had to bring in Meite. That's how I see it.
No, I think the issue was that there just wasn't enough depth. Since Benasset was always injured, there was no backup to Kessie and Tonali. It was just two of them. So I think there had to be the Meite.
Meite plays over Tonali now.
All right, boys.
Boys.
I'll tell you some stats and we'll talk about it. So,
starting.
Meite has 28 games, of which 15 is a starter. He's got.
There's Torino included in there.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, probably yes.
All right. Yeah.
I'll tell you right now.
I couldn't imagine.
Meite played 28 games for Milan.
Talking about Meite's stats.
Anyway, I don't know. I think Meite's expectation was that he's gonna be. I don't know. I think he's got to be either an average or good. He can't be underwhelming.
Average, please, not good.
Average.
All right, next up, I think Tomori has to be a top performer, guys.
yeah.
He played really well. No discussion
Yeah.
about that. Last but not
Top
least, I think
performer.
for real flop for Milan. Well, this is where there could be a discussion as well. I think Mario Mandzukic has to be a flop because I was expecting much more from him, even with those times he played. Yes, he can save up. He's been deterred by injuries, but at the same time, he was in some way guaranteed. He was telling that he was ready for it, but he wasn't. This is the thing. I want to say flop, but at the same time, we've literally just said that because of playing time, like because of you being injured, is not an excuse for your judgment. But at the same time, it's like how many games does he even have? I think he doesn't even have.
Did he doesn't score? No.
No.
No,
I don't think.
I think Mandzukic is the definition of a flop. If you look it up in the
Yeah.
dictionary, is
Okay, so he has
Mandzukic.
8 games. 8
Yeah.
games, 1 as a starter, 0 goals, 5 shots.
I was
2
researching Mate.
yeah.
Are you seriously considering putting Mandzukic anywhere else than a flop?
Exactly. Thank you.
What?
Okay. Anyway, guys, we'll
If you
just
give
have a
me
summary.
2 more
It's what-
minutes, I'll tell you exactly how many games both of them played from as a starter.
I can. Okay, wait. Well, we'll go through the recap and then we'll just go quickly through that because we're on 1 minute, 1 hour 11. I want to finish up. So, anyway, this is our tier list for AC Milan 2020-2021. We'll go from bottom up. We'll go the flops of the season were only Mario Mandzukic, underwhelming performances for the season. Romagnoli, Benasser, Diaz, Dalot, Leao, and Tonali. Average players, Krunic, Tataruzanu, Auge, Kalulu, and Mete. Good performances from Rebic, Salamaker, and Gabia. Top performance, Çalhanoğlu, Theo Hernandez, and Fikayo Tomori. All-star team, 5 of them. We got Calabria, Kier, Kessi, Donnarumma, and Zlatan Ibrahimovic. All right, tell us, Amy.
So,
and I'll take a-
Tonali played more games as a starter than Mate. I apologize for that.
Yeah, obviously.
So I might even consider moving him up.
Tonali average.
Whatever you guys, I would move him into average.
Who? Tonali?
I don't have an opinion about this.
No, I'd leave him underwhelming just to piss Luke off. I
3 against
personally was
1.
expecting
I like
more.
that. I like that.
I was expecting more. All right, guys, should we finish off the episode on that note on Luca being pissed off and crying?
Yeah.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure as always to have an episode with my friends here from the Catenaccio Podcast. Tune in next week for another podcast episode. We'll come up with something to do again. But yeah, as always, we've had our panelists here. Amy, say bye-bye.
Thank you guys for watching. I hope it was fun for you guys as well as how it was for me. So see you next week.
Ricky,
Ciao. See you next week.
as always. Luca.
Goodbye, guys. It was not great being here. It was a terrible experience, and I will defend Sandro Tonali to the ends of the earth.
I'll talk to you about this, Luca, but I don't know whose shirt I want to buy. I think Tonali might be it. I don't know. Next.
Watch your mouth when you say his name.
Last but not least, I've been your host for today, Aleardo Riani. Let me get the music up and then we'll finish off.